A few videos ago, I did a video on Roman maniple formations, those that were used during the Republic. In this video, however, I will be covering the formations used during the Roman Empire, known as cohort formations. Firstly, what were the cohorts? A cohort was a Roman military unit that replaced the maniple. A cohort was usually comprised of 480 soldiers. Inside those groups, 100 people would be led by a centurion, yet only 80 of them would be soldiers, with the rest accompanying the century as slaves or to look after weapons and such. 10 cohorts made up a legion. Now, on to why did the cohort replace the maniple? The cohort replaced its previous formation as the maniples were outdated. They were outdated for the following reasons. Whereas previously a single maniple meant a great deal in a battle, now each maniple meant very little, and the structure of their command was no longer relevant, as each leader under the general no longer had the power to act on their own initiative, as their command was less meaningful. The other problem was that each maniple was one of three things: a hastati, princeps, or triarii maniple. That meant that if the number of hastati maniples far exceeded the number of princeps maniples, there was a number in that the reserves, or princeps, were much smaller than the initial force, or the hastati. As such, by quadrupling the size of each maniple, turning it into a cohort, and not having different units based on skill, both of those problems were solved. Now, what were the advantages of the cohorts? There were many advantages. Firstly, each cohort was roughly equal in skill, as I said previously, with cohorts not being sorted by skill. This meant that any cohort that was not depleted in legionaries would be just as good for any job than another cohort that was not depleted. This standardization of the primary military units was very useful. They were also much larger in size. This gave the commander of each cohort much more freedom to act on their own initiative, and allowed the legate of the legion to focus on commanding the battle as a whole instead of ordering every cohort. They also had the same advantages over the phalanx as the maniple formations had, for example, increased maneuverability, and it was less easy for them to be disrupted by terrain or charges. Cohorts were as such a significant upgrade to the maniples, whilst keeping the same advantages that the maniples had. This has been our video on Roman maniple formations. There will be new videos very soon. For now, Valete et Ave SPQR!